Hello and welcome to Learn Data. I'm Nilesh, and in this video we'll continue to learn about pandas. Specifically, we'll work around missing values and see how we can use the replace function to handle missing values, as well as how can we use regex along with replace. So let's head on to Jupyter Notebook. In here I've already created a new notebook and imported two libraries, NumPy and pandas. And for the dataset, we right now have two items. One is the series, that is series A, and the second item that we have is the data frame DFR. As you can see, it has three columns. To get started, I'm going to create new cells here. Now the very first command we are going to look at is a simple replace command and see how it works. So in our series A, if we want to replace, let's say, the value 11 with 999, the way we would do that is type a dot replace 11 comma 999, and that will replace the value of 11 to 999. Now similarly, we can also go ahead and replace the entire list of items within that data frame. So if we have if we take the data frame the series A, and we take a dot replace, and here if we say 11, 22, 33, 44, and if we are looking to replace all the elements here by say 7, 8, 9 and 10, so it can be done in this way. So we supply the replace function what we want to replace, and then separated by a comma what values it should be replaced with. So that's what we did in this case. Now we can also use a dictionary to supply values. So let's say if we say a dot replace and we give a dictionary with key value pairs. So let's say 11 we need to replace by 999, and 33 needs to be replaced by another value, say 888. Then this is how we would do that. So a dot replace open parenthesis, and within those we have curly braces, and there we are going to add 999 and 888 as shown here. Now let's look at how we can use the similar concept with using a data frame. So the data frame that we have already created is the DFR data frame. Now within this data frame, if we want to change the values for a particular column, let's say we want to change the 11 in column A, so the way we would do that is DFR dot replace open curly braces column A, we give the name and then the value in that column. Similarly, if we want to change another value in other column, let's say column C, and we need to change the column K in that particular column, now value of K in that column by 999, then we would type like that. So this way we change the value of column value of 11 to 999 in column A, and value of K to 999 in column C. Moreover, we can use regex or regular expressions. So let's see how we can combine the use of regex along with replace to easily handle missing values or add missing values to existing dataset. The original data frame that we have is DFR. Now in this data frame, if we want to replace all the stars with NaN, the way we would do that is DFR dot replace, and here if we specify the star or asterisk by np dot NaN, then that will replace all of these values by NaN. Now the reason why this is not replaced is because there are two stars there. So if those need to be replaced, then we need to put two stars, and if you do this, only that value is replaced. Now if all the stars need to be replaced, one way is we could supply this with a list such as this one, and that will replace all the stars that are inside of the column. Moving on, similar to this, we could use a regular expression. So dfr dot replace, and here we a regular expression would be the first part. So we specify r as a raw string, and then we specify np.nn. So we want to add a np.nn there, and we say regex is equal to true, and then within these codes we specify the condition. So we say star. So now that will replace all the stars within that data frame by using this regular expression. If you do not understand what the raw string does or how regular expressions work, I'll highly recommend you to check the earlier videos on regular expressions where we go in much detail as to how these work. Next, let's see how we can use lists to replace values. And here again, if we take the data frame dfr, so dfr dot replace, and here if we want to change the value of I and want to change the value of star as well, and then replace those values by I by capital C, and then we want to replace the star by np.nan, then that can be done in this way. So here we replace the value of I by capital C, and all the stars are now replaced by nn except these two stars. So if you need those to be replaced as well, I would put 2 stars there. And we also need to give the additional return value. So that's how we would replace all the stars within the data frame along with the other character I that we had specified. Now moving on, let's look at a few more ways in which we can add regular expressions to a list. So dfr dot replace, and here if we here what we are going to specify 2 lists, and let's say regular expressions regex is equal to true. Now here the first list would contain the regular expression that we need to find the items that need to be replaced, and the second would contain a regular expression that we are going to replace with. So let's say we want to replace all the stars, so we want to give a return group, so that's why we have to put those values in parentheses as shown here. And here then for that group, so that would be, let's say, group 0, and here we want to replace that by the word star, and that can be done in this way. So we found the stars in this particular column B, and then replace the return group all the stars with the word capital STAR, and that's on one way in which we can change the contents of a data frame by using regular expressions within a list. Moving on, we can continue to use dictionaries along with this. So if we have dfr dot replace, and in here if we use a dictionary to find what needs to be replaced, another dictionary to give the values that need to be put in after finding the replacement values. So let's say in column B we need to find where all the stars are, and these are the stars that will need to be replaced. Then what replacement value should be put in, so we can specify that here as a key value pair, and in this way we can then replace these 2 stars by nans. So here we are using dictionaries to replace the values. Moving on, we can use regular expressions within a dictionary as well. So let's say if we have dfr, and now we have one dictionary that will find the parts that need to be replaced, and the second dictionary will have the parts that need to be put in to the as a replacement in the data frame. And then we have regular expressions regex is equal to true, because here in dictionary now we are going to use regular expression instead of direct value as we used above. So to do that, we would specify capital B, that's the column name, and then here we'll specify the regular expression. Similarly, on the second side we are going to specify that these replacements need to be done here, and we can specify the value. Let's say we are going to put np.nan, and as a search we'll just simply look for star again, and as you can see, we are able to replace all the 3 stars in the column B using regular expressions that were inside of a dictionary. Okay, so that's the important part there. So we are using regular expressions along with the dictionaries. Now moving on, let's say let's try to use another type of regular expression. So dfr dot replace, and here if we specify different types of regular expressions, we can do that. So we can supply a list of regular expressions and then replace those with NaNs if we want to. And again, we need to specify a regular expression is equal to true, only because we are going to specify a condition of regular expression in this list right here. So here first we'll specify one condition separated by a second condition. So the first condition that we are going to specify is say \d, and that should replace all the numbers. However, there is a catch, and I'll come to that in a minute. So, and the second was we replace the stars. Now when we run this, as you can see, the numbers are not touched, they are as is, and that the reason is because regular expression is expecting a string. Now to make this work, what we can do is we can change this. So we can say dfr, and we can introduce a new column, string a is equal to dfr a, and we can specify the type of this as type str. Now this is a string data type. Okay, so dfr dot d types, and as you can see, sa is now an object, although it will have numbers, as you can see. Now if we go back and copy this command that we had and type it here, now the entire sa column has become nan, because we have specified a \d, which identifies the numbers 0 through 9 within a string for replacement. So that's how that one works. In addition to this, there are other ways in which we can specify replacement for numbers. So let's say we have this DataFrame dfr again, and in this we want to change the value 44. How would we do that? By replace. So dfr dot replace, let's see, dfr dot replace, and here we can specify the number 11, and we can specify nan. So now sorry, there has to be a dot there. So now we have replaced the number 11 in column A at index 0 by nan. Now if there are more than one numbers, that can also be done. So we have dfr dot replace, where we can specify a list here and then specify np dot n or any other number that we wish as a replacement value, and we can say, let's say 11, 33 and 55 needs to be replaced, and thus we were able to replace all these values by nan. Before we end this video, I just want to share one more thing, which is we can also use a regular expression in a different way. For example, this particular expression could be modified, and instead of saying replace here, we can say regex is equal to this, and then here we can say value is equal to this. So we don't have to type regex is equal to true, and when we run this, we get the same output as we saw before. So I hope you learned in this video how to use replace command along with regular expressions. This is a really powerful combinations once you get used to it. And in data pre-processing, you'll be using a lot of replace and regular expressions to clean the data set to get into form where it can be used for further analysis. And especially the data that I've seen that used to get from clients, those data could was sometimes not easily workable, so it had to be cleaned, and I've used replace commands and regular expressions on a regular basis to clean the data set, to make it to bring it into a clean state where it can be used for analysis. That was it for this video. I hope you learned how to handle missing values in this past 4 videos, and you'll be able to use this in projects either in exercises or in your own work as well. That was it for this video then. I hope to see you in next video. Please like, share and subscribe. It helps me stay motivated to create more content for you all. Thank you.